Hello YouTube, this is CN Maritime History here back again with another video, and tonight I will be talking about RMS Carmania, the Cap Trafalgar's killer. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in my Cap Trafalgar video, I'll have to rewatch it, but if I remember correctly, the Carmania fought the Cap Trafalgar, and the Cap Trafalgar was disguised as the Carmania. Yeah, you'll find a lot of memes on that if you look it up online. Anyway, RMS Carmania was a Cunard Line transatlantic steam turbine ocean liner. She was launched in 1905 and scrapped in 1932. In World War I, she was first an armed merchant cruiser and then a troop ship. Carmania was the sister ship of RMS Caronia, although the two ships had different machinery. When new, the pair were the largest ships in Cunard's merchant fleet. Leonard Pescott designed Carmania. John Brown and Company built her, which would later build the Queen Mary, if I remember correctly, launching her on February 21st, 1905, and completing her that November. Carmania had 3 screws, or 3 propellers, each driven by a Parsons steam turbine, which actually was what drove Titanic's center propeller. A high-pressure turbine drove her center shaft. Exhaust steam from the center turbine powered a pair of low-pressure turbines that drove her port and starboard shafts. Caronia, which was launched the year before, had her sister, Caronia, which was launched the year before, had 2 screws and were driven by quadruple expansion engines. The essentially identical ships with the 2 different sets of engines was an opportunity to compare operations and clarify the advantages and disadvantages of turbine engines. Carmania's sea trials were in November 1905. On the nautical measured mile off Skelmorley, she achieved 20.19 knots. Another feature that differentiated the two liners was that Carmania had 2 tall forward deck ventilator cowls, which were not on Caronia. As built, Carmania had quarters for 2,650 passengers, 301st, 352nd, 1,003rd, and 1,000 steerage. Her holds included 46,280 cubic feet of refrigerated cargo space. Carmania left Liverpool December 2nd, 1905 for her maiden voyage to New York, arriving December 10th. She completed the voyage in 7 days, 9 hours, and 31 minutes, averaging 15.97 knots, over the 2,835 nautical mile route. Carmania plied between Liverpool and which means sailed, between Liverpool and New York from 1905 and 1910. In the spring of 1906, she took H.G. Wells to North America for the first time. He noted her size in the book about his travels. This Carmania isn't the longest ship or the finest, nor is to be the last. Greater ships are to follow, and greater. The scale of size, the scale of power, the speed and dimensions of things about us alter remorselessly to some limit we cannot at present describe. That was H.G. Wells' quote. In June 1910, in Liverpool, Carmania suffered a major fire in her passenger accommodation. Her structure and machinery were undamaged, and repairs were completed by October the 4th. On an eastbound crossing in October 1913, Carmania answered a distress call from Volturno to pick up survivors in a storm, which resulted in many awards for gallantry being presented to various members of her crew and Captain James Clayton Barr. In August 1914, after the outbreak of World War I, Carmania was converted into an armed merchant cruiser, armed with 8 QF 4.7-inch Mark V naval guns. She was commissioned as HMS Carmania with the pennant number M55. Commanded by Captain Noel Grant, she sailed from Liverpool to Shell Bay in Bermuda. On 14th of September 1914, she engaged and sank the German merchant cruiser SMS Cap Trafalgar, which I've talked about before, in the Battle of Trindade. Now, what I did not know was that the battle had a name. It's the Battle of Trindade, which I later added in Cap Trafalgar's video description. At the time, ready for this? Cap Trafalgar's appearance had been altered to resemble the Carmania to trick people that it was the Carmania. Yet it turned out the very first ship it ended up fighting, Carmania. Carmania suffered extensive damage and several casualties to her crew. And the famous picture, this is Carmania sinking Cap Trafalgar. So, Carmania is the smaller one off on the left, and Cap Trafalgar is the one on the right. After repairs in Gibraltar, she patrolled the coast of Portugal and the Atlantic Islands for the next 2 years. In 1916, she assisted in the Gallipoli campaign. From July 1916, she was a troop ship. After the war, she took Canadian troops home from Europe. By 1919, she had returned to ocean liner service. In 1923, Cunard Line had her refitted as a cabin-class ship with her total accommodation reduced 2650 to 1440. Carmania was summarily refitted, and the two sisters kept busy until the shipping slump caused by the Great Depression after 1929. By 1930, Carmania's navigational equipment included submarine signaling and wireless direction finding. Toward the end of 1931, Cunard put Carmania and Carmania up for sale. In 1932, Hughes, Blockow & Co. bought her for scrap. She arrived at Blyth on April 22nd and had broken up. Her bell is on display aboard the permanently moored HQS Wellington at Victoria Embankment in London. If you would like to go see that. So I hope you have enjoyed my relatively short video on the HMS or RMS, depending on what time period, Carmania. It has a, not a very in-depth history, simply because not many things happened to it, besides its main thing of sinking the Cap Trafalgar. But not many things happened to it during its life, besides the fire and the Trafalgar sinking. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please don't forget to smash that like button, and leave a comment below and subscribe. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a good day.